Hey everyone, Anthony Venuta here with In Touch Mortgage Solutions. Hope everyone's doing well. Please pardon the look. I haven't had a chance to get to the barbers, and I don't think we will for some time now. So I put a hat on just to cover up the coif, and just wanted to really do a video just to really reach out to our clients and our database, and any people that are watching that have questions. Want to do some tips in regards to how to work through this time that we're in when it comes to your mortgage potentially, and if you're buying real estate or if you're closing a transaction. So first and foremost, the deferral, for those of you that have already done it, as I said, if you need it, it's there for you, and obviously you can make that decision. For clients that are still on the fence, we're saying to them, you know what, you may want to consider trying to see if you can run it to the point where you won't be able to make the payment. And the only reason behind that is because we don't know exactly how banks are going to perceive the deferral come out of the situation on the other side. So what we're saying to our clients is, if you have a line of credit or an unsecured line of credit, try to maximize using that to make ends meet when it comes to your mortgage payment, because capitalizing the deferral onto your mortgage is a larger amount, because of the fact that it's going to be capitalized onto the entire mortgage balance, versus, let's say, a line of credit where you're drawing out a couple $1,000s to make that payment, and you're going to be paying only interest on that smaller balance. And it can make more sense for you depending on your institution and your line of credit and what they're offering. So that's one suggestion. The other suggestion is if you have your mortgage payments set up weekly or bi-weekly or accelerated, you may want to switch it to monthly, as that can give you a little bit of a better cash flow perspective to get you through this time. Some clients opted to go sooner because, as I said, it's a good time, but it all depends on your specific scenario, and you have to look at, for example, if you're working, if your last check's coming in, if you're collecting EI, if you're going to be receiving the Canadian Relief benefit when that money comes in, and that can help cover the mortgage. So you want to make sure that, as I said, those things line up. So we're saying, hey, you know what, cash flow might be key. Another thing is, if you have an account that your mortgage payment's coming out of, you may want to look at options like overdraft protection on that account to give you that little bit of a buffer if you don't have a line of credit, just to make sure that mortgage payment does come out, or if the deferral hasn't kicked in. Because we had seen some clients that they took the payment out, or the payment, there wasn't enough in there, and they just took it out regardless, even though they were deferred. So just, as I said, a word to the wise, see if your bank can give you that overdraft protection. The other thing is that you've probably heard in the news is that a lot of the banks and their credit card companies are offering deferrals as well, but also reducing the interest rate that you're paying on the balances you could be carrying on them. So that's another piece of advice, is to see if you can contact your branch or your lender and see if they can reduce the interest rate on your credit cards if you have a balance. That can help save you a lot of money as we go through this whole process. As far as, when we're talking about the credit report, a lot of banks are starting to, not stop recording or defer recording until everything's settled down and they figured out the system of which to make sure it doesn't report negatively to the credit bureau. So that brings us to the point where we're saying, when you're calling for the deferral, if you have to, and you're speaking to them about maybe a specific scenario, or you're activating the deferral, get the name, the number, employee number, and get a confirmation in email or writing regarding the deferral, so that you have a point of contact to go back to if anything does go amiss, right? The other thing is, for people that are purchasing or going through the process of buying right now, we have been confirmed by a lot of our banks that, they are changing the way that they're looking at mortgage applications, and that means you have to be working, and they're also looking at the sector that you're in. So the banks are scrutinizing the deals a little bit more by asking for additional documentation to validate employment. So be prepared for that. If you have an insured deal and you've lost your job and you've already signed the commitment and you're committed to sort of close, those insurers have agreed that they're going to make sure that those deals close. So if you're in that boat, not to worry at all. But as I said, for other deals, depending on where you are in the process, you may want to reach out to your bank or your broker and make sure that your deal is not in jeopardy of falling apart. That's really important. As I said, be proactive, not reactive. The other thing that we want to stress is that a lot of people that are going through renewals and refinances right now because of the situation that they're in, because their mortgage is literally coming up at this time, is how to approach the situation when the bank's offering you, or you're getting offered something. What we've been saying to our clients is that if it's a necessity to refinance right now, and you are looking to plan or take out some money to maybe do some things while you're at home, and maybe do some renovations or whatever the case, invest, whatever it is that you're choosing to do. If you're having to refinance in this time, we're suggesting to our clients to take a variable rate mortgage. And as I said, just a suggestion, because a variable rate mortgage, even though the discount's not as heavy as it is or was a few weeks ago, variable rate mortgage gives you a lot of perks, especially with the economic situation of Canada right now, and with the 3 reductions in the policy rate over the last month, and the fact that most of the banks have adapted to the new prime of 2.45 versus 2.95. And not to mention that this month is also another rate announcement, and we may see a drop. We may not see a drop. We may hit 0. We may not. Only time will tell. But being on a variable rate mortgage means you have a 3-month penalty exit clause at any given time in the mortgage, and the flexibility to lock into a fixed rate once the whole process and once this whole thing boils over, right? So you can ride the wave of the current situation and basically be in a better situation come out of this in a few months, hopefully, right? So this is just some of the advice that we're giving to our clients, and I wanted to share with everyone out there. If you have any questions or concerns, or you want to ask us something personally, feel free to give us a call, send us an email. Always give us a like, share with a friend so that we can put that information out there and make sure that everyone thinks with a little bit of clarity, doesn't panic right away, right? Because that's what we want to avoid. Right now is a time to focus on being home, staying healthy, being with family. As I said, we're not here to sell. We're here to help and help provide you information so that when we come out of this together and we all come out on top. That's our goal. And thank you to our frontline responders, whether that be the health physicians, the medical departments, the nursing care, the truck driver, anybody the grocery store that's making sure that we're able to get the things that we need to survive here at home. Thank you. And just wishing everyone safe, stay home. Let's help flatten this curve, and so we can get all this together. Thanks, and have a great day.